in Kamchatka today began to collect tons of ash, which was thrown out by volcano Shevelovich. And a column of rescuers with food and medicines reached the villages at the foot of the volcano. This is the main thing that people need right now. But the most important thing for me is that no one has measured the level of radiation, and it seems they are not going to measure it. The ecology is already far worse than can be imagined. In the affected villages, the fallen ash now interacts with the snow no worse than reagents in the sun. All this melts into a terrible muddy mass, which literally cements the streets and houses. Kozyrevsk is drowning in this volcanic mud. Because of the blocked roads and lack of electricity in the village, stores and bakeries did not work for 4 days. Bread ran out. Kindergartens do not work. Classes in schools were completely cancelled. So far, people prefer not to leave their homes. The road is still not being cleaned and is not going to be. People are slumping a bit and it's causing a hard time. It's hard to walk. Walking now is also life-threatening. There are not icicles hanging from the roofs, but real stalactites. Shiveluch has been gathering strength for almost a year to erupt in the most powerful eruption in the history of observation. One of the most literally loud events of the week was the eruption of volcano Shiveluch in Kamchatka. It was the most violent in 60 years. The density of the eruption was such that it did not allow daylight to penetrate. But before I get to the video, I want to recommend you my new channel Vision or Crime, where I tell about interesting and criminal stories and mysterious disappearances, shocking crimes in the USA and Europe. I am sure you will not be bored. Follow the link that appeared in the upper right corner. Also, the link to the channel I placed in the description to this video. So, let's continue. The nearby settlements were covered with ash. Scientists pay attention. In the last month's volcanic and seismic activity increased in different parts of the planet and remind that Kamchatka is a part of so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, which stretches from the peninsula to Antarctica through Japan, Philippines and New Zealand. It is in this ring that 80% of the most powerful earthquakes have occurred. And the current eruption of Shiveluch could be the beginning of much more catastrophic processes. Shiveluch had been gathering strength for almost a year to erupt in the most powerful eruption in the history of observation. The ash cloud went toward the settlements. In an instant, day turned into night. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning outside. It's covered in ash. It's the first time I've ever seen that, said the locals. Beginning on April 11th, a series of emissions occurred. On the 12th and 13th, 2 huge columns rose as high as 10 kilometers. The ash cloud covered the sun, blocked air traffic and spread 500 kilometers. The ash layer reached a height of 20 centimeters. When it stopped, people in the village of Klyuchi, which is the closest to the foot, realized that poisonous volcanic sludge was everywhere. There is nothing to breathe. There is a smell of sulfur. Total apocalypse. Kamchatka residents share their impressions. In order to make Kamchatka settlements safe again, they need to be cleared of ash. Any moderate wind will turn it into a poisonous storm, and it is not easy to do. Volcanic sludge is mixed with snow. It turns out that it is necessary to remove everything together. Already transported about 1,500 tons of dangerous cargo, and we need tens of times more. We take this ash to the landfill specially prepared, said the truck driver. The peninsula's largest river, which provides drinking water to several villages and settlements along its banks, has turned into a dirty muddy liquid of a grayish-yellow color. Near the shore you can see how it was before the ashfall. The cyclone literally dragged the toxic cloud deep into the region. We found the border about 200 kilometers away. The village of Atlasovo is the outermost settlement in Kamchatka, which was affected by the volcano. An ash cloud touched it only a little tangentially, but it was enough to turn the streets of houses and cars gray. It is possible that the eruption of Shiveluch was provoked by Bezymyany volcano, which released lava after a 7-ball earthquake in Kamchatka. Even Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky was shaken then. Those earthquakes that occurred may affect Shiveluch and Bezymyany, but most importantly, these volcanoes were already ready to erupt, explained Alexei Ozerov, director of the Institute of Volcanology and Seismology of the Far Eastern branch of the Russian Academy of Sciences. When Bezymyanyi woke up, a team of volcanologists worked there. Viktor Frolov was also part of that expedition. He had only just returned when Sheveluch burst, and the expedition was back in the thick of it. Fear at some point disappears from understanding that you are at the mercy of the elements. Everything you could do, you did. The rest is the volcano's decision, notes volcanologist Viktor Frolov. Kamchatka volcanoes are part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. There are 4 active volcanoes in the red zone. The erupting Shiveluch is the northernmost active volcano in Eurasia. The highest is Klyachevskaya Sopka. Talbachik has 2 calderas at once. Nameless in 1956 triggered hundreds of earthquakes per day. These record breakers are capable of much. The atmosphere is heated all over the planet. Once a year, Etna reminds us of itself. Stromboli recently woke up. In Indonesia, the volcano Semeru has thrown out a column of ash 15 kilometers high, and in the future may do the same as Bezymyanyi and Kamchatka awaken its more dangerous neighbor. The Kakai caldera is located in the East China Sea. A dome of red-hot magma has already formed at the bottom. The top is only 30 meters from the surface of the ocean and continues to grow. The eruption is in mega tsunami, which will cover China, the Far East, Japan, and North America. There are phases of very serious increases in volcanic activity. But, in general, we understand what volcanoes may erupt in the near term, geographically speaking, but we cannot predict exact dates. The main threat comes from Yellowstone in the United States. Under the surface there are tons of magma, which is ready to burst out. The volcano basin is 55 by 72 kilometers in size. If it bursts, the temperature on the planet will fall on 10 to 20 degrees, and it means crop failure and famine. With the current development of civilization, humanity can only observe the activity of volcanoes. The world cannot prevent the apocalypse. Volcanoes are recognized as the greatest danger. It is scarier than an asteroid. The chance of its falling is small, but a huge number of eruptions will happen, explained Luca Carici, professor of volcanology at the University of Geneva. Kamchatka settlements, one could say, were lucky. Sheveluch ejected a pyroclastic flow on the opposite side from them. At terrifying speed, a red-hot mass of lava and rocks scorched 25 kilometers of the taiga. Kamchatka will take a long time to recover from this natural disaster. It will take years for the unique nature of the peninsula to process kilotons of ash, which was thrown out by Sheveluch. But it is this natural disaster that allows scientists to look into the future and understand what the planet will look like after the supergiant volcano erupts. I thank you for watching. Your support is very important to me. Your comments and thumbs up motivate me to release new videos on interesting topics. Subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the new videos.